We are heading out of here on an overnight sleeper train. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Chisinau, Moldova. We're back here in Chisinau, and we're only actually going to be here for a very short amount of time because, like I mentioned in our last video, we are heading out of here on an overnight sleeper train from here in Chisinau to Bucharest, Romania. So we're here at the train station. It's time to light this candle. Come along. Thanks for clicking on the video. If you want to help out the channel and help it grow, I really would appreciate it. Click on the like button down there, the subscribe button, and the little bell next to it to be notified for when new videos drop. It really helps the channel grow because it's going to help the YouTube algorithm recognize this content and spread it to other YouTube viewers. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, I would appreciate that as well. You can leave a super thanks by clicking this thanks button here and give a small donation to the channel. I appreciate your support. So back to the video, enjoy. So the train station here in Chisinau is actually quite cool. It's a really nice train station. There was an older station here before this that was destroyed in World War II. And then this one was built in 1948 in Stalinist neoclassical style. Very cool. We're here a little bit early. We're gonna head inside, find our train, make sure we can get on. Brought some snacks with me because it's gonna be kind of a long ride. The ride is it's like 14 hours, roughly 13 or 14 hours. Most of that is actually in Romania, and that's actually good for a couple of reasons. But we'll talk more about that once we get inside and we find our train. Beautiful inside as well, the train station. Very cool old train station in the Stalinist neoclassical style. Reminds me a lot of the train station in Yerevan in Armenia, actually. Very cool. All right, I think our train is going to be through here. Don't know if it's here yet or not. We're about to find out. We're on the actual platform. Also quite nice. Nice platform. Very nice train station. You can see here we are in Chisinau. So the train we're taking is called Prietenia. Prietenia means friendship. It is I'm pretty sure the only overnight train between Moldova and Romania. And it's been running for a long time, actually, as the, like symbol of friendship, right, between Romania and Moldova. And it runs once every other day. So it doesn't actually even run once a day. Runs every other day. It leaves here in Chisinau at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, like 5:05 I think is the exact time. Honestly, very cool station. Very cool if you're a train nerd, which I have kind of become over the course of this trip. A very cool station. So I thought this may have been our train here sitting on the tracks, the Prietenia, but this looks like actually is for Kyiv in Ukraine. So I wonder if ours isn't here yet, or we still have some time to kill, or perhaps it's on a different track. Alright, so our train is on platform 3, which is the outermost platform here, and I think actually this might be the train coming in here, backing in, because I'm pretty sure that direction where it's coming from is west, and that's the direction we would need to go and so it seems like it's facing the right direction. Now I wonder if perhaps this is for these Kiev cars, and then once this pulls out, our train comes in later. Either way, it's cool to see the old trains, the old Soviet era train carriages. They're definitely hooking up this train, these carriages, to the ones that are already on the track. It's pretty cool. That is very satisfying. What I think actually might be our train. That sign on the carriage behind there said Kiev, but it's possible they just have the wrong sign and they haven't changed it out yet, because this right here says Chisinau, Bucuresti. Chisinau, Bucuresti. 105, 106. This is our train. This is definitely our train. Cool, man. Look at these cars. These old, like, yeah, man. Like, this is old. These are old Soviet era, train carriages. Super cool. There it is. Kalea Ferrata din Moldova. Cool. This is the locomotive that will be carrying us all the way to Bucharest. I have no idea what kind it is. I am not that knowledgeable. Anybody in the comments? Any other rail fans in the comments know what kind of locomotive this is? Let me know. Anyway, we are on carriage or wagon number 4, which is second from the front, right here. Now, when I booked this, I think I booked first class ticket, private cabin. So I'm gonna have the whole cabin myself, I think. I don't know. I'm getting a little nervous about it because there was a thing on the ticket where it said CLS and it said 2, and I don't know if that's class 2, which it shouldn't be. The price that I paid, it should be the first class cabin, and since cabin number 4 here, or wagon number 4, seems to be like up by the front of the train, that makes me think that I did book the correct thing. It's a little tricky when you're booking this because you can book your ticket online on either the Moldovan Railway website, because this is a Moldovan Railways train, or on the Romanian Railway website. And the booking process is a little bit different depending on which website you're on. I booked it on the Romanian one, but hopefully it worked out. I think it did. If it didn't, then I guess I'm gonna have some neighbors, some roommates basically, for the next 14 hours. We'll see what happens. Here we are in our cabin, and as you can see, it is it's very cool actually. I have these blue curtains, very Moldovan. Little tablecloth on the table. The light switches are these cool, old, clicky light switches. Looks like there's blankets up there, coat hooks. I mean, it's nice. It's very comfortable inside, honestly. But it is super cool. This old fake wood paneling. This is really cool. This is awesome. Now I'm told that somewhere on this train there is a buffet car where you can get snacks and stuff. We'll have to check that out at some point. Man, this is cool. Very cool. What's under the seats? Under the seats it looks like some bedding for when we sleep eventually. There are power outlets, which is nice. Yeah, very cool. Now, something to talk about with this train. The price for this, which is like a first class cabin, single occupancy all to yourself, was only 277 Romanian, because I paid on the Romanian website, Romanian lei, which comes out to about $57, I think, which is a really cheap price actually for an overnight train from between Chisinau to Bucharest. What I mentioned also earlier in the video was that we're taking the Chisinau to Bucharest route, which is actually better, and I'll tell you why. The train crosses the border. It leaves here at 5 in the afternoon, and it crosses the border around 8 or 9. It arrives at the border at least around 8 or 9, and the border crossing actually takes quite a long time on this train, specifically because Moldova and Romania, this is part of Moldova's post-Soviet republic past. They're on different rail gauges. So the Soviet Union and all the former Soviet republics, they all used different rail gauge, a wide gauge rail, whereas Europe uses a standard gauge rail. And so this train at the border has to not only go through migrations, where you show them your passport and do all that, but they actually have to lift up the train carriages on like a huge crane and pull the bogies or the trucks where the wheels are off and put different ones on, which is kind of crazy. And I'm pretty excited to see that now. If you're taking the Chisinau to Bucharest route, that whole process of crossing the border and changing the trucks and doing all that all happens at like 9-10 o'clock at night. And then after it's done, around midnight or so, when you roll on, you can go to sleep. If you're coming the other way, you cross the border at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which sucks. It's very similar to like what we did when we were coming from Georgia to Armenia. We had to cross the border in the middle of the night, and it really sucked. Didn't get very good sleep. Hopefully on this one, because we'll be able to get past the border and be like on the other side by like midnight at the latest. I think we should be able to get some pretty good sleep. So I hear them firing up the train engine, so it looks like we're going to roll out here pretty soon. All right, we are moving. The unfortunately for the video, I think the views we might get out this window are not going to be great because it is exceptionally dirty. But we are moving. We're on our way. Bathroom review. There it is. There's a hole in the ground. You can see right out. And I've been told that this toilet is a drop toilet, meaning when you flush it, it just goes out on the tracks. There it goes. It definitely does. True story. There's a little very kind of old looking plug here for your razor, your electric razor. Sink, soap. Not bad. It is pretty clean. And I think because there's no tank, and it just all goes out on the track, it doesn't smell too bad in here. Get a better look through these windows. We're in the compartment in between the two coaches right here. Oh, where we can pass in between, actually. Very sketchy looking pass through, but let's do it. the hallways look like. Carpet, curtains. And here we are. This is the buffet car. Not open right now. Hopefully it'll open up in a little bit. We'll check back. We'll check back here in a little bit and see if the buffet car is open. But pretty cool. Little spot where you can eat. Grab some snacks there. Not bad. Not bad. Alright, let's go back to our car. Also of note, free Wi-Fi. Free Wi-Fi on the train. Not bad. Looks like we have arrived at our stop. Like I said, I think there's one stop here between Chisinau and the border, and I see some platforms, so don't know exactly what the name of this town is. Sun's going down, so we're not going to be able to get too much more like video of anything outside the train, and I've actually already turned the lights off and spread out the bed. I'm just sort of lying down, hanging out. But when we get to the border and we start to lift the train up and change the trucks underneath, that's going to be really cool, and I'm definitely going to show you guys that. A little later, we did go back through the sketchy pass-through in between the two coaches in order to get to the buffet car, and this time it was open. And it was nice. They had a selection of like snacks. There's a menu you can see here. They also have like some hot food, I think, or prepared food. You can get coffee, you can get tea. They also had a remarkable collection of booze that was on sale, both in size of the collection and variety. So you can get booze, you can get coffee, tea, you can get some prepared food. We decided to get a little snack and a bottle of water, brought it back to the cabin to await our stopover at the border. Okay, so the attendant just came around and said border control coming up 10 minutes. He also said they're closing the bathrooms in 10 minutes. Luckily, we're good there, but that makes sense actually, because like I said, they're going to have to change out the trucks underneath the carriages, and the toilets, like I mentioned, are drop toilets where when you flush it, it just goes out underneath the train. So it makes sense they're going to close the bathrooms, but hopefully it's completely dark outside. Like, all you can see, of course, is just reflections off the window back. It's completely dark. But hopefully we'll be able to see. I'll turn the lights off in here in the cabin, and hopefully we'll be able to see like kind of the process of them taking the trucks off and putting the new ones on. I think that'd be pretty cool. All right, well, we have arrived at the border control checkpoint. The town is called Ungheni, and we're just at a station right now. And I'm imagining, they haven't told us that we have to get off, so I imagine the border guards are going to come on the train. Doesn't seem like we're in a place like a train yard where there's going to be the ability to change the trucks, so maybe that happens later. Well, they shunted off a couple of cars. The border people took all our passports, and then they shunted off a couple of cars. They separated them onto another track next to us, and now the train's moving again, which makes me wonder. None of us have our passports. I'm guessing what's happening here is they're taking us, I guess, over to the yard where they're going to do the wheels, and then hopefully we go back to the station where I imagine our passports are, because we're definitely going to need those. All right, so after being shunted off from the other cars and then moved around a little bit, felt like we went back and forth a bunch of times. We are now in a yard of some sort, and I can see over there the other bogies, or the other trucks. This window is a little messy, but if I lift up here to where the windows open. You see those? So I think this is it. I think this is where they're going to lift us up and switch those out. Cool. One of the other trains is the other carriage is up on the crane right now, or on the lifter. They have to switch them out completely with new ones. Then they lower the thing back down and, like, I don't know, pin them into place. It's wild. I guess it doesn't matter if I know what's happening, as long as that guy knows what's happening. They lowered that one down onto the trucks, and they raised ours up. It happened so, like, slowly and smoothly. I didn't even notice it happening. The only way I knew was there's a kid in the carriage across the way who was, like, filming with his phone, and I didn't know why. Like, why is he filming us? But it's like because we got lifted up, and now they're doing the same thing underneath our carriage that they were doing under that one. I just realized this carriage over here that we've been looking at is the one way back at the station where I said, oh, this carriage is going to Kyiv, because it had a Kyiv sign in it that said Chisinau to Kyiv. And actually you can see, like, right there on the side of the carriage is the Ukrainian trident. So maybe this is like this car is from Ukraine. The railway workers, some of them just went on through that back door. I think they're going to go on and, like, go in the carriage and screw the like pins, I guess, in to hold the truck in place. We're being lowered down now, like, super, super slowly. That noise is the lifter. I imagine any minute now that the guys are going to come on the train and, like, lock in the trucks from up here. I think that's it for now. I managed to get a shot of that guy with my phone. Well, like, I managed to get a shot of his butt as he leaned in to put the pin in that room. But it's pretty cool. I think we're all done, and I think now we just need to, like, get our way back to the station, the border control, get our passports. Then we move on into Romania, and then there's going to be another passport check there as well. And then at that point, we will be on our way in Romania, and I will try and get some sleep. All right, well, we are finally on the move. We've cleared passport control in Romania. We are back officially in Romania, on our way to Bucharest, and it is almost midnight. I think it's time we get some sleep. So early morning we arrived in Bucharest, and my camera was down to like 5% battery, so basically I couldn't film anything, but it doesn't really matter because we're only staying in Bucharest just one very quick night, and the next morning, after staying in the hotel here in Bucharest, we hopped on a flight to our next destination, which I will not tell you where it is, but I will give you this as a little bit of a spoiler. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making this one. We will see you soon from a new location. Until then, we'll see you in the next one.